Shalom. I want to start this off by giving honor, praise, and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, Waharakak. Peace and salutations to the elect men and elder men that are diligently pushing forward the will and doctrine of Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, and that are doing it day by day according to the true understanding of the scriptures. To you I say Shalom. So the title of this lesson is going to be, why do we fall? So we can learn to get back up. And then the subtitle, or in parentheses, basically, strength through growth pains, right? And got a few scriptures lined up, but basically, you see like a cause and effect, or with certain chain of events, you know what I'm saying, certain things happen, right? And to be more specific, when you see it being done with those that are truly seeking the Lord versus those that aren't, you see a different outcome between the two. There's a difference between how one acts versus the other, right? And the reaction that comes with their actions, So, we just gonna hop straight into it, right? This is 2 Corinthians 12 and verse 9. It says, "And he said unto me, my grace is sufficient for thee, for my strength is made perfect in weakness. Most gladly, therefore, will I rather glory in my infirmities, that the power of Mashiach may rest upon me." Verse 10, it says, "Therefore, I take pleasure in infirmities, in reproaches, in necessities, in persecutions, in distresses, for Hamashiach's sake. For when I am weak, then am I strong." Right? And this is a beautiful scripture, because it just goes on to show how, and what I'll do is I'll read this verse 9 in the NLT. It says, "Each time he said, my grace is all you need. My power works best in weakness. So now I am glad to boast about my weaknesses, so that the power of Mashiach can work through me." It says, verse 10, "That's why I take pleasure in my weaknesses, and in the insults, the hardships, persecutions, and troubles that I suffer for Hamashiach. For when I am weak, then am I strong." Right? The Lord power is able to build us up. That's why the Lord says he deals with the brokenhearted, those of a contrite spirit. In those moments, right, those that truly look to seek the Lord and are operating under the Lord, they're putting themselves in a position to where, one, they're acknowledging where they are and acknowledging that they need help, that they need fixing, right? That they can't do this on their own. But on top of that, they're acknowledging that they need the Lord, right? They're acknowledging the state that they're in and acknowledging only the Lord can get me out of this. Versus what you may see people of the world, Esau, first and foremost, right? Because he's the ruler of this world. That's the opposite of what he does. He doesn't do that. He goes on to move and operate where he trusts in himself, trusts in his own hands, trusting in the things that he's made as if he's God. But yet, that's all to no avail, and the scriptures go on to say that. So, the next verse I'm going to get is this, Hebrews 12:5. Because basically what I'm going to go on to show is how being in a state of where you've fallen, right? But you choosing to go about it the right way is only going to allow you to learn how to get back up. You know, it's going to allow you to be in a position to where you're going to gain strength through that pain. You know, it's like working a muscle in a sufficient way to where the muscle ends up growing, versus like if you work in the muscle in an aggressive way or in a way that you end up hurting it. You know, you now basically have to sit down, or you now have to take away from that growth, because you gotta allow the wound that you created to heal. You know, so basically just getting the righteous aspect here. You know, and this is in regards to those that are actually operating under the Lord, that are choosing to seek the Lord and choosing to go to the Lord, you know, when they're in need, right? When they're seeking guidance, when they're seeking wisdom, when they're seeking understanding, when they're seeking to resolve the issue, you know? So this is Hebrews 12 and verse 5. It says, "And ye have forgotten the exhortation which speaketh unto you as unto children. My son, despise not thou the chastening of the Lord, nor faint when thou art rebuked of him." It says, "For whom the Lord loveth, he chasteneth, and scourgeth every son whom he receiveth." It says, verse 7, "If ye endure chastening, God dealeth with you as with sons. For what son is he whom the Father chasteneth not?" You see? And all that is just helping to build discipline, you know? It's like in a moment that you scrape your knee, or you know, as a kid, right? You know, you scrape your knee or you end up getting hurt, you know, instead of sitting there, you know, crying over the scrape, you know, it's a moment to where you get up and you basically learn from the mistake, acknowledging what led to you scraping your knee, you know. Or I took a wrong step, and you know I ended up tripping over my foot, and that's how I scraped my knee. You know, you don't just sit in the fall, you know, to where now you never try again. You know, it instead you get up, acknowledge what happened, and find the solution, right? And the way that you find the solution in this case is through the Lord, you know, through the wisdom that he set up, right? Counseling with the men that he set up. You're basically going to all the sources that the Lord has established, you know, as good and righteous sources for you to be able to utilize. You know, if you're truly seeking the Lord, he's going to present you with those resources, so that way you are able to seek them and go to them and you actually utilize them. You know, it's like when you plant a seed, you know, you're looking to have it bear fruit, you know. So it basically, I just say that to say that you don't want to waste what the Lord shows you, right? But all the things that you go through when you fall, with you falling, right, is to prove your spirit and to prove who it is that you go to when you're looking to resolve your problems. You know, do you choose your how about Shema Shai or the things of this world, right? Because that's what is basically put in front of you that's so easily accessible, you know, the things of this world. But you have to realize the Lord is not dealing with this world. He's not looking to save this world that we're amongst. He's looking to build a better world, you know? So we go to the Lord rather than the world, you know? And then on top of that, how do you lean on the Lord in moments of failure, you know, or being down and having nothing in your sight but yourself and your current position, you know, like the state that you're in, you know, like the analogy as far as you falling and scraping your knee, you know, acknowledging it and then looking for the resolution, right? And real quick, I'm gonna get this. This is Sirach chapter 2 and verse 4. It says, "Whatsoever is brought upon thee, take cheerfully, and be patient when thou art changed to a low estate." It says, "For gold is tried in the fire, and acceptable men in the furnace of adversity. Believe in him, and he will help thee. Order thy way aright, and trust in him." You see? So in the moments that you may fall, or in the moments that you you know, you're down, or you're hurt, or you know, whatever the situation may be, in those moments when you're low, you go to the Lord. You seek the Lord to help put you up and bring you up high. You know, he's that source that you're looking to do so with. You know, and you want to take the moments of being low, and just like how I said before, sit in them. But like how it says here, like take it cheerfully. Because you know, with the moments that you fall, but you seeking the Lord, it's to help you build experience, help you to build knowledge and understanding, so that way you actually know how to go about it the right way the next time that you go, you know what I'm saying, that you do it, right? And then that's you proving the Lord's word to be true. With you proving the Lord's word to be true, now you can better help somebody else when it's your time to do so, you know? So, I'm gonna jump back here. And this is verse 8. And this is when we start touching on those that don't trust in the Lord. You know, those that aren't of the Lord's elect, those that aren't of the Lord's anointed, those that trust in the world, right? They're not considered being of the Lord. They're not of the Lord. You know what I'm saying? To say it plainly, they're not of the Lord. So they're not looked at as sons, as you will see, you know what I'm saying, within the verses before this, right? Hebrews 12:5 on down to verse 7. But here in verse 8 it says, "But if ye be without chastisement, whereof all are partakers, then are ye bastards and not sons." You see? And one thing to keep in mind is the Lord is the Lord isn't going to allow the wicked and those that are not, you know, of his elect to, what's the word I'm looking for, last, or to flourish forever, you know, because that's what their inward thought is that their house shall last forever. But that's not the case. The Lord has it written that they're going to be destroyed, that their kingdom's going to go down. All that they've built and all the things that they lean on, again, is to no avail, right? It's all garbage. It's all going to be waste, you know. So, just getting this real quick to help prove this point. This is Psalms 37 and verse 7. It says, "Rest in the Lord and wait patiently for him. Fret not thyself because of him who prospereth in his way, because of a man who bringeth wickedness, just like who bringeth wicked devices to pass, right? And it says in the NLT, be still in the presence of the Lord and wait patiently for him to act. Don't worry about evil people who prosper or fret about their wicked schemes. You see? So just because you see somebody within the world where it looks like, they're prospering, where it looks like they've got it all, and they don't trust in the Lord. They don't deal with the Lord. They don't operate under the Lord, right? Don't think that is gonna last, or that was established righteously. No, they've only got that for but a moment, and it's really only gonna add to their demise. Them being in a high state is gonna have them basically think that they're secure and good, to where they're gonna have their guard down, and with them having the guard down, it's only gonna put them in a position to where they're gonna get caught off guard when the Lord comes to bring them that judgment. They're not gonna see it coming, But it says, verse 8 back in the KJV, cease from anger and forsake wrath. Fret not thyself in any wise to do evil. And here's the point. It says, verse 9, for evildoers shall be cut off. You see, that's prophecy. That tells you that will happen. You see, it says, and it says in the NLT, but I'm going to finish the verse in the KJV and then jump. It says, for evildoers shall be cut off, but those that wait upon the Lord, they shall inherit the earth. Right? And then in NLT it says, for the wicked will be destroyed. See? Not maybe, not kind of, sort of, not like, only for a little while. No, they will be destroyed. It says, but those who trust in the Lord will possess the land. You see? So that's something to take comfort in, knowing you're choosing to trust in the Lord, right? And not this world, not the things that set up in this world. Because it's all temporal. It's all carnal. The Lord deals in the spirit. And you having his spirit and the things of his spirit, they're going to last. They're going to be forever. Moth nor rust can corrupt the Lord's treasure. So that's what makes this so beautiful to keep in mind and to take hold of, right? Because even though it looks like they've had all these things for so long, that doesn't take away from them still doing wickedness and them still having judgment coming their way, right? Real quick, this is Ecclesiastes 8 and 11. It says, because sentence, right, which is that verdict, that judgment, if you will, because sentence against an evil work is not executed speedily, therefore the heart of the sons of men, see, not the sons of God, but the sons of men, is fully set in them to do evil. It says, though a sinner do evil 100 times, and his days be prolonged, yet surely I know that it shall be well with them that fear God, which fear before him. Right? And then in the NLT, verse 11, it says, when a crime is not punished quickly, people feel it is safe to do wrong. But even though a person sins 100 times and still lives a long time, I know that those who fear God will be better off. You see? So just because you see them doing what they're doing and gaining things within this world, we understand that the earth has been given into the hands of the wicked. So right now, everything look all nice and dandy for them, having the things that they have, but yet the Lord not dealing with them like sons. So he's not chastising them like how he's gonna chastise you. And him chastising you again is helping you to gain the experience that you need now, sooner than later. It's not gonna tarry. Like the Lord doesn't operate on just allowing, leavening to sit and build up. The scriptures doesn't say rebuke them sharply for no reason. The Lord Yahweh Bashim Yahushua, they're not intending on just refraining from rebuking, the sons of Yahweh Bashim Yahushua at a later date, allowing them to think that everything's good. Like, nah, it's going to be addressed immediately, because all of what is weak, all of what's dross, all of what's how would I say, that's not pure is going to get burnt up. Like how I said in this verse right here, Sirach 2 in verse 5, it says, for gold is tried in the fire, and acceptable men in the furnace of adversity. You see, all the impurities when gold is in the fire are going to burn up. So in the same case with an acceptable man, right? All the BS is going to get burnt up in that furnace of adversity, and it's through you going through the adversity that you're going to get built up to be even stronger. And that's why it says to take these things on cheerfully. That's why you are to constantly endure and withstand, the falls that you do have, right? Because it's only just going to help you to learn how to get up. And that's ultimately the strength that you gain through the growth pains, So jumping back to the Hebrews real quick, and this pretty much be it. So this is Hebrews 12 and verse 11. It says, now no chastening for the present seemeth to be joyous, right? But grievous. Nevertheless, afterward it yieldeth the peaceable fruit of righteousness unto them which are exercised thereby. You see? So even though you're gonna go through it and you're gonna have moments of feeling pain, nonetheless, you getting through the pain only gonna build you to be stronger, right? And that's the whole point of why you wanna lean on the Lord. That's why you wanna go to the Lord. That's why you want Him to be your number one emergency contact. Pray to Him and ask Him and seek Him for help, for guidance. And that also includes going to the men that the Lord has set up within certain offices. We're about the Lord's business, so there ain't gonna be no bull crap within the Lord's business. When you looking for a cure, you go to the Lord. Everything of this world is a prescription that doesn't heal or cure the root issue, the problem. So that's pretty much the point. We fall so that way we can learn to get back up. You see the people of this world, they not falling. It's because they're not being put in a position to get back up. So don't be like them. And that's pretty much the point. Lord, and this has been edifying. With that, I'm going to say, call Allah, Yahweh, Ba'ashim Yahweh Shai, Wahawah Kakwadah.